I'm Christian Staples with Arctic Spas. Especially with our bigger Summit XL hot tub and all-weather pools, the Vanish XL cover lifter is the best way to make your cover easier to open and close. Plus, it folds the cover down farther along the end of the spa so you don't have the cover blocking your view. Here are the instructions for installing the Vanish XL. There are instructions in the box, but we have modified them slightly to fit the Arctic Spa better. We also added a shim and changed the shock to a stronger one that works with our heavier cover. I start out by laying all the parts so you can see everything clearly from the box. You'll need to make sure you have a drill. You'll also need to go to the hardware store to purchase 4 number 8 bolts, 3/4 inch long with washers, lock washers, and nuts that fit. If you're doing 2 Vanish XLs on an all-weather pool, you must double this amount to 8. Now that everything is laid out, attach the front and the rear pivot arms to the base mounting brackets using the supplied 2 1/4 inch button head socket bolts, washers, and lock nuts. One for the right side and one for the left side. Install the large and small pivot arm shims as shown. Make sure the pivot arms rotate freely and do not over-tighten the bolts. Next, attach the ball stud mounting plates to the base mounting brackets using the supplied number 10 by 1.5 inch mounting screws. Attach the base mounting bracket pivot arm assembly to the cover mounting brackets using the supplied 2-inch button head socket bolts, washers, plastic shim washers, and lock nuts. Let the assembly hang freely. Run the bolts from the inside out. The lock nuts will be protruding from the brackets. Use the beauty caps to cover the lock nuts. Also use the supplied plastic washers as a spacer between the pivot arms and the cover mounting brackets. Once again, do not over-tighten the bolts. The pivot arms need to rotate freely but not wiggle side to side. Flip the front half of the cover onto the back half. Unzip the back half of the cover, exposing the foam core. Next, slide the aluminum plate insert between the foam and the vinyl cover, ensuring the aluminum plate's short edge is facing towards the spa's acrylic. Slide it to the end of the flat side so it does not go into the radius corner. A big screwdriver helps to slide this plate into position. Position the cover in the closed position on the spa, ensuring that all 4 corners are properly positioned and square on the spa. Place the bracket on the top of the cover, ensuring that the back edge of the bracket is positioned at 11 inches from the back of the cover. This is where we differ from the regular written instructions. Using an 11/64 inch drill bit, we drill through the cover skin and just deep enough to put a dimple in the inner aluminum bracket. We do not want to drill through and into the foam core. We drill 2 holes. Next, remove the inner bracket. Some needle nose pliers will make it easier to grab a hold of and pull it out. You now have 2 dimples that act as your template to know where you drill through. Insert the number 8 bolts into the aluminum bracket with the heads so that they will be on the inside next to the foam. Reinsert the inner aluminum bracket between the foam and the cover skins. The bolts will stick out through the skin. Be careful of the extra little vinyl fold that likes to grab the bolts. It is easy to catch the bolts. Attach the outer bracket assembly to these 2 bolts. Install the washer, lock washer, and nut to secure the 2 brackets together. This will sandwich the cover top and bottom together. Repeat this process on the other side of the spa if you're doing a swim spa. Swing the base bracket assembly up until the front and the rear pivot arms make contact with each other. Put the foam shim behind the bracket and make a mark at the top and the bottom of the foam trim indicating where it needs to be cut against the vertical transition piece. This vertical cabinet piece covers the transition from the straight side to the curved corners. Pull the foam shim out and cut from one mark to the other. You can use the other foam shim as a straight edge to draw your line to cut. Then pull the white paper backing to expose the sticky side, then stick the foam shim to the bracket. Make sure the cover is perfectly straight and in the proper position on the spa. You cannot move the cover once the brackets are attached to the cabinet. Move the entire bracket all the way up so it is in its normal closed position. Attach the base bracket assembly to the spa cabinet using the supplied number 10 by 1.5 inch mounting screws. You will not be able to access some of the screw holes with the cover in the closed position. The next step is to install the shock. Insert the front side first, then lift the cover up until the ball stud on the back lines up with the back of the shock. You can then open the cover all the way to gain access to the rest of the holes for the screws needed to attach the brackets to the cabinet. Repeat the process for the other side of the spa if you're doing a swim spa. Attach the cover plate to the bracket with a hex cap bolt. Do not over tighten the bolt, it just needs to be snug. There is a plastic cap for the hex cap bolt that you can install. Then screw in the number 10 1-inch screws around the edge of the plate. The last step is to install the bumper. Measure 7.5 inches on the top of the front arm and make a mark so that you know where to install it. With your drill, attach the bumper to the arm. In the open position, the bumper will rest on the rear arm. And that's it, you're done. For more information or help, contact us at 801-483-1001 or at support@ArcticSpaStore.com. To get the Vanish XL, visit us online at ArcticSpaStore.com, where you get everything for your Arctic Spa with the convenience of free home delivery.